Hello, Jen Pike here from the Simplicity Project. It is noon on August 31st, which really today feels like it could be September 30th with this fall weather that we have outside. Oh my goodness. I'm wearing flannel. I'm wearing my Keswick dinner jacket as I'm doing this Facebook Live right now. Today I wanted to hop on. We're not going to be super long, probably about 20 minutes in total, and I wanted to chat with you about 3 of the most common errors that I see people making, both men and women, when it comes to how you're supporting your body nutritionally in regards to your exercise. And that maybe one of these 3 or 2 or all 3 of them could be the reasons as to why you're not really feeling like you're getting the results from the effort that you're putting into your training. Hi everyone. Hi Karen. Hi Lindsay. Hi Vanessa. Awesome. Hi. And let me just say this, that there's definitely more than 3 errors that the average person is making. A lot of this has to do with, for many people, exercise is the thing that we're choosing to do maybe, 40 to 60 minutes a day, a couple of days a week, as where nutrition and your nourishment is the thing that you are doing every day, all day. There are many more emotional components to that, timing, scheduling. So nutrition is always the thing that is going to be harder to set the foundation in, to stay consistent and aligned with your goals, and then the exercises. So I think it's really important to cut ourselves some slack right off the get-go and understanding that. What I wanted to go through today, though, is the top 3 that I've been seeing as the trend with my clients, with my community on Facebook and on Instagram, at workshops that I've been teaching over the last 8 months of this year of 2017. So the first one is that a lot of people are making the mistake of using exercise as an excuse to inhale the kitchen sink, meaning that you're going and you're doing your workouts, whatever it may be. Maybe you're going for a run, you're doing strength training, you're doing CrossFit, you're doing a vinyasa yoga class, Pilates, Zumba, whatever it may be. And then you come back home and you're rewarding yourself via your food for the rest of the day. So let's break this down and think about this for a moment. The average person, like I said, is exercising anywhere from 40 to 60 minutes. So, a 3/4 of an hour up to an hour that we're working out for. Most of us are staying up for 14 and 16 hours in a day. So if you've got this energy output that you're providing for your body, you're burning, say, an average of maybe 300 calories over the period of that workout. But now for the next 12, 13, 14, maybe even 16 hours, you are rewarding yourself all day because I worked out really hard this morning. I can have, the Timbits that are in the staff room at work. I can have the extra pump of vanilla in my latte. I can have an extra scoop of protein powder in my smoothie. I can have an extra scoop of the sweet potatoes at dinner, or a slightly larger piece of that steak. I can have the little cookie because I worked out hard today. It's really easy for us to rationalize those choices in the moment because we'll go back to the way we felt at that 40, 60-minute workout and how hard we feel we worked at that time. So I understand it from an intellectual perspective, how we think about it. But here's the reality. If you're burning, say, an average of 300 calories in your workout, but you're going home and you are allowing yourself on the way to work to get the 2 Timbits, which is going to be, 140 calories. Each Timbit is 60 calories, and you're having the extra pump of vanilla or the latte, and maybe you got whipped cream on that. Like right there, there's your workout. You just diminished all of your efforts and your results right there. And that's in the morning. Like we haven't even gotten through the rest of your day. So now you get to your morning snack and now there's something sweet that somebody's brought into work and you just have a little nibble of that because you worked really hard at the gym in the morning. You get to lunch and you have your healthy lunch, but you want that little something sweet and you deserve that because you worked hard. You get home after work and you want to have that glass of wine because you worked really hard. And then you make your dinner, you're a little bit hungrier at dinner. P.S. It's not necessarily because of how hard you worked out. It could be that you have been stoking unstable blood sugar from over snacking and over consuming food all day long because you worked out so hard in the morning. And now you have a slightly larger dinner. And then after dinner, the kids have gone to bed or you have your quiet time. You're watching something on Netflix. You're scrolling on social media. And now you want to reward yourself for like the 6th time today because you did your workout. All of a sudden now, that 300 calorie deficit that you created by doing the workout in the first place, you've now eaten like 4 times what you needed to have in order to replenish, repair, and provide the nutrient density to your body. And you probably weren't choosing nutrient dense food. You were choosing, in your mind, what is reward food, because you did a really good job. So give me like the likes, or, raise your hand if that's ever happened to you before, because it has for me. I mean, I've gone and worked out, and then I've had that mentality all day long, worked really hard. This is the day that I can like refeed myself, reward and refuel myself all day long. And you can do that. Yeah, lots of hits there. We've all done it. Part of this whole process at getting better and more efficient at what we're doing and our efforts that we're putting out there, exercise and nutrition wise, is just like cut the BS. Like just recognize these habits and these patterns that we get ourselves stuck into. And when somebody breaks it down for you the way that I just did, you're like, well, shit, I friggin' do that all the time. And if I'm working out 5 days a week and I do that every time I work out, like there's my extra pound that pops on in a week. I mean, listen, guys, I'm not somebody that teaches people how to count calories and do all of that stuff as a mainstay of my practice, but let's just break it down science-wise here. There's 3,500 calories. All right, 3,500 calories in a pound. So say over the course of 5 days, you're working out, say you take in an extra 500 calories a day. Well, there's 2,500 extra calories. That's pretty much almost a pound a week that you could be putting on. And this is the same person who's going to say, I don't understand, Jen. I'm doing everything right. I'm exercising, I'm doing the workouts, I'm eating, what I perceive to be healthy, and yet I'm either gaining weight or my body's not changing at all. And this is one of the main things that I see people do incorrectly, is they are using their exercise as an excuse to inhale the kitchen sink. Your nutrition has to match your training efforts, not mask your training efforts. I'll say it again. Your nutrition has to match, has to be aligned with your training efforts, not mask your training efforts. So if you are over consuming based on what you perceive to be the exertion that you created in your training, you are not going to hit the same results. Now, do we want to feed our body appropriate additional calories when we're working out? Potentially, yes, depending on what your current state of nutrition is. So everyone's been kind of watching what my husband and I have been doing over the last 4 months. We've been training more intensely. Neither of us have lost a single pound. If you were to look at our workouts, you would think, how are you not losing weight? The reason is that we have matched, we have aligned our nutritional input, the food, the raw material that we are providing our physiology, our biology, our bodies, so that we are actually building lean muscle tissue. We are actually getting stronger. Our performance is increasing. Our energy is increasing. Our sleep is more restorative. And that has come not from the workouts. It has come from lining up our nutrition based on the workouts that we are doing and ultimately the way that we want to feel. If we were to do a calorie restrictive diet, if I were to decrease the calories that Chris and I were consuming, if I were to have this approach where we weren't consuming any carbohydrates and we were just depriving, and then we are going in and hammering out these intense workouts, our adrenals would be shot, our sleep would be an absolute mess, our mood would be a mess, our body weight would actually, we might drop some pounds, but we'd probably be catabolizing and consuming some of that precious lean muscle tissue that we want, not only so that we can see the muscle definition, but from a hormone perspective really helps to balance out our body. So again, it's all matching your effort with everything else. Like your whole environment has to be part of your goals and what you're creating. It's not just about showing up and doing the workout and having a protein shake in a day or a salad. Like that's not going to get you to hit the goals, okay? So that is thing number one. The second thing is focusing on calories, not ingredients. So this is huge. When you're constantly trapped in this mindset of numbers and all you are focusing on is flipping over the back and looking at what the nutritional chart is, the number side of it, the amount of calories, the carbs, the fats, and the proteins, the fiber, the sugar, all of that. Now, I will say this, understanding more about your macro and micronutrition is important. Do you need to understand the amount of fiber, sugar, your minerals that are in there, your carbs, your fats, your proteins, those types of things? Absolutely you do. But if most people are bypassing that and they'll just look at two factors, they're going to look at how many calories are in something and they're going to look at how much fat is in something, but they're not going to look at what's making up those numbers. They won't revert down and look to the ingredients. And I'll give you a really good example. A Snickers bar, which we see these commercials all the time. Somebody's having low blood sugar, they're really angry, or they like have brain fog, they can't think really well, they're not the best version of themselves. They go and they have a Snickers bar and all of a sudden they turn back into themselves, right? Making us think that a Snickers bar is complete. There's peanuts, so there's protein, which by the way, peanuts aren't nuts. They're legumes, they're high in mold, they're high in alpha toxins, they are a huge inflammatory trigger. Nobody should be consuming peanuts, peanut butter, even if it's all natural. Chuck that shit out. Okay? The second factor of that is that they've made you believe that this is going to stabilize your blood sugar. This is all you need. It's a great, quick, on-the-go option. It's like telling parents to give their kids chocolate friggin' milk after, they exercise. Inflammatory, garbage, sugar, crap. Cut it out. In the words of Uncle Joey off of Full House, cut it out. Get that crap out. Here's the problem. You know what the ingredients are in that Snickers bar? And actually, before I even tell you that, so 270 calories in a Snicker bar. You know what else has 270 calories? 7 ounces of grilled chicken breast. Now, 7 ounces is a lot. I probably couldn't even consume 7 ounces, but I could over a couple of meals. I could take my 270 calories and I could stretch that and have 3.5, ounces of chicken at lunch and 3.5 ounces of chicken at dinner or fish or whatever it might be. Your ingredients, okay, your ingredients that are in your Snickers, they are sugar, cocoa butter, milk, lactose, soy lecithin, regular butter, hydrogenated oils, corn syrup solids, salt. That's what's going in. Artificial food coloring, artificial flavoring, that's in your ingredients. What are your ingredients in your chicken? Chicken. The ingredients in your chicken are chicken. That's a whole food. Okay, now granted, there are going to be some chicken that's going to be raised less ethically and healthy than others. So obviously choose organic, right, when you can, non-GMO. But at the end of the day, 270 calories of a Snickers bar full of garbage, 270 calories and 7 ounces of chicken, which could be split between 2 portions, and the ingredient chicken. Okay, here's the other factor. Chicken is got a good source of fat and an incredible source of protein. Protein is your most thermogenic macronutrient. So when we're talking about eating foods that are going to stoke our metabolic system, they're going to help us to actually turn on this digestive heat and fire that's in our body, what do you think is going to do a better job? The Snickers that has got a tiny little bit of protein, a tiny little bit of fat, and a crap load of sugar, which is going to make you exhausted, make you lethargic, give you cravings later on. It's going to shift your mood to a cruddy one, and it's going to make you thirstier. Or do you think that the chicken, which is going to actually increase your metabolic system during the digestion process by about 20 to 40%? So while you're actually consuming, digesting, and breaking down this chicken that you are eating, you are actually sending a message to your body physiologically to actually increase that thermogenic effect, which is going to increase your metabolic rate. It's going to work towards your goals. It's going to work for you, okay? The other thing is that this is going to help you to balance your blood sugar levels. Eating the Snickers bars, having all of the sugary garbage, the fast foods, all of those things are going to mess with your blood sugar. And blood sugar is really the foundation on which we call it self-control. I have no self-control. I have no whatever it may be. I don't have any self-control. That's not what the case is. If you don't have balanced blood sugar, if your leptin and ghrelin are all over the map, which are your satiating hormones, you don't have a hope. They will win. They're chemical messengers in your body. They will win time and time again because they will make you feel like you are literally starving. You need to have something. If your body doesn't get that extra little stimulant, if it doesn't get its quick pick-me-up from the sugar, from whatever source that sugar is, your body is going to go into stress mode, and it will convince you that something bad is going to happen if you don't give in. That's how you get hangry. You're just like, feed me something now or else. Choosing the 270 calorie version of a Snickers bar and all different options of that, Snickers is not the only thing I'm saying. There's lots of examples I could give you. Will create that in your body time and time again. The more days that go on that your blood sugar is unbalanced, the more you're setting yourself up for chronic systemic low-grade inflammation, for issues with your insulin resistance, for increased weight gain, for headaches, for chronic cravings that are going to take you even longer to manage and let go of. Your nighttime eating will be worse. Your sleep will be worse. Okay? All right. Number 3, and this is the last one. The third problem that I see with people is that people are drastically cutting their carbohydrates with no strategy set in place. So everyone thinks, okay, the quickest way that I'm going to lose weight, I'm going to cut my carbs. I'm just going to take all my carbs out. All I'm going to have is protein and vegetables. Okay, great in theory. Really hard for most people to do, especially because most people go cold turkey. So your body is like, excuse me, where's the glucose? Where's the glycogen? What are you doing to me here? I can't survive. And so you might make it a portion of your way through your day, and then you're just like, rah, and you go and eat and grab hold of whatever sugar or garbage that you can get into your body to quench those cravings. So you have to ask yourself, if you are cutting out carbohydrates, which is an entire macronutrient, if you are reducing your carbohydrates, because to be honest, most people typically do need to reduce their carbohydrate intake of the wrong carbs, not of their root vegetables like their squash, sweet potato, healthy, low glycemic fruits, extra vegetables, those types of things. Most people need to be getting rid of the junky carbohydrates, the cakes, the cookies, the crackers, the wraps, all that kind of stuff that we're just overdoing. But if you're going to be reducing, how are you going to balance this missing macro? How are you going to balance the calories you were getting from that? How are you going to balance out the micronutrition, the vitamins, the minerals you were getting from that? You have to have a plan. Are you going to go more ketogenic, meaning that you're not going to go into ketosis? Those are two different things. Adding in more fats to have a more ketogenic approach to how you support your body and trying to actually hit ketosis are two different things. And that's another Facebook Live for another day. But are you going to increase your fats as you're decreasing your carbohydrates? Because you can't do both. If you increase your fat consumption, your carbs still stay up, you're going to gain weight. That's, matter of fact, is going to happen. In fact, it's what I do with clients who have to put on weight. We jack up the fat to try and match and meet what their carbohydrate intake is. You can't just keep increasing your protein because your kidneys can't manage that, your body can't manage that, your gut and your bowels can't manage that, and the more protein that you're consuming, your body will do something called gluconeogenesis, and it will actually start to break down that excess protein that your body's not utilizing into a form of glucose. So you really have to think about, if you're going to pull those carbs, where are you getting from? My recommendation is not to restrict your carbohydrates. It's to get educated on the right type of carbohydrates. Maybe you have less than what you're having now, but you've got to line it up and take a look at, what are your exercise requirements? Do you have adrenal fatigue or thyroid issues? Because if you do, drastically depleting your carbohydrates is an absolute gong show disaster from a hormonal perspective. I can't tell you how many women I work with on rebuilding this and putting their body into remission because their constant dietary approach has been take out all the carbs. Meanwhile, they don't have an adrenal gland to stand on. They're so frazzled, exhausted, anxiety, depression, overwhelmed, no sleep, holding on by a thread, and they go and take out a whole entire area of macronutrition without realizing the implications that this is having on their hormones, okay? And when you've got two low carbohydrate diets, I mean, especially if you're somebody where you've been trying to do intermittent fasting, which I really like intermittent fasting when it's done correctly. And I'll do another Facebook Live on the IF method, but you don't do intermittent fasting and shorten your span of eating and do a calorie or carb restricted diet. It's not going to work, especially for those of you that are dealing with adrenal fatigue, you have thyroid imbalance. Do you know what will happen as you continue to deplete? And when we're talking about, intermittent fasting or a keto fat loaded way of living, most people are doing less than 50 grams of carbohydrates a day. This doesn't work for the majority of clientele, the moms and the women that I'm working with who are trying to literally rebuild their health and their foundation because their adrenals are shot, their thyroid is in massive distress. Do you know what will happen if you are following this approach and you're still drinking coffee and you're still having alcohol and you're still doing your die-hard workouts without first establishing adrenal health? Thyroid function is going to continue to diminish, which means your pituitary gland is going to be unsupported, which the pituitary gland is supporting the thyroid, so it's unsupported. It's one whole vicious cycle. Your sex hormones are going to be all over the place. Your adrenals are going to be shot. Your hunger hormones, leptin and ghrelin, are going to be so confused. You'll actually shut down leptin production, which leptin is the hormone that tells you, step away from the plate, I've had enough, thank you, I'm satisfied. We don't need to go and get a second helping. We don't need to have the sweets. And instead, ghrelin, who's the gremlin of the stomach, that is the thing that's like, get me more. Ghrelin will be jacked up and leptin will be suppressed. And now you don't have a hope in heck. I don't care how much you're journaling about what you want to eat, or you're, saying positive affirmations, you're showing up to the class, you're doing this or that. If you're not eating in a way that is supporting your current body status, everything is going to feel like it's going to shit side, and you're not going to hit any of your goals. And in fact, you're going to make yourself more tired. You're going to deplete your hormones even more. You're not going to see the results you're going after. And you're going to get stuck in this perpetual cycle of feeling like, frig, I have been doing this for years. What friggin' magic pill do I have to swallow to actually feel and see the results that I'm after? And I'm telling you, it doesn't exist in a pill. It exists in slowing down, being patient, and actually learning what your body is asking you. Okay, you have to understand, you got to slow down and carve out the spaces and the places where you can actually sit and evaluate your schedule, your life, your circumstances, and your goals. But the goals really should be coming after you fully establish where you are at. This is why I create and write the programs that I do. Saturday, Rock Solid Booty launches. So is this program going to get you a better ass? Abso-freaking-lutely. But that's just the bonus. You're also going to learn inside of this 18-page workbook, the Facebook Lives that I'm doing inside the private Facebook group. You're going to learn not just how to move your body for a better booty, but you're going to be supported with a meal plan, with recipes. And here's the thing, you got to trust the process, ladies. You have to. How many of you have ever joined a program before and all you do is one of two things? You only go straight forward to what the meal plan is and you follow it for like 3 days, then you're like, oh, that one didn't work for me. Yeah, that meal plan didn't work for me. Or you don't address the nutritional side of thing and you just do the workouts. How many of you have done that? How many of you, put your hand up, have just done a program and all you've done is the workouts, but you've changed nothing about your nutrition? I'm gonna wait for your response because I need some water. None of you. You're lying. Okay, some of you are like, I've never even actually done a program before. Okay, that's what happens, is that you end up just doing the workouts and you don't end up hitting the nutrition side of things. Or the opposite happens where you only look at the meal plan, but you don't do any of the workouts. If your goal is to actually achieve what you set out to, you have to go full in. You gotta show up and do the work that's asked of you and that's required. This program is nothing crazy. It is fully laid out for you, loads of support within it. We open up our registration on Saturday, September the 2nd, and from the 2nd until the 5th, I'm doing an early bird rate. So there is a special discount for those of you who come in for the first 100 ladies. We already have a couple hundred that are on our wait list. If you go to jenpike.com, you're gonna click on Rock Solid Booty and you add your name in on there, and you will be the first to get our email on Saturday when it goes out, and you can register. I'm going to sign off, and I hope that this little Facebook Live today gave you some clarity around those top 3 nutritional mistakes that we all have a tendency to be creating when it comes to exercise and hitting our goals. Have a fantastic rest of this fall August day. Take care, everyone.